Hey guys, how are you? It's a pre-game show, and we are here to look at the 4 games from Thursday, answer your questions, have a bit of fun, talk injuries and who's in and who's out and lineups and how it all looks. Welcome in, everyone. It's good to have you guys here for the pre-game show. As always, if you hit thumbs up on the show, that'd be great. Get it out to more people, get a few hundred people in here live, it'd be great. Have a bit of a chat to you blokes. All right, so let's, what do we have? Shea is listed out for Friday. That just came through. That's not a surprise with the COVID protocols. We never expected him to play on Friday. He is out. He should, hopefully, fingers crossed, return across the weekend. But yeah, he is officially out now as well. Tejas, hello. Clarence, hello. You're always here. Mahi, you're here a lot as well. Angela, welcome to you. You're here often too. Uzziah, if you have IL Plus, you've got to start Vassell, right? Drop Eason for him. I don't think you have to start him. No, I think he's going to be very limited, and I don't think I would drop Eason just to get Vassell in today. I don't think I would. Nolan Smith blow up the combine. Yeah, I know. What do you run? 4.40? Pretty sure that's what happened, Tejas. Wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Let's go and do some dribble game. Start off doing that right now. Let's bring up the screen. Who do we have here? All right. Jeremy Grant to DeJounte Murray. This shouldn't be hard. Spurs, Hawks, Pistons, Blazers, Jeremy Grant, DeJounte. So who's a Spur? Drew Eubanks. There we go. That's an easy one. All right. Done. Got that one sorted. Didn't even give you guys a chance to guess at it. Let's bring the lineup screen up. We do have a couple of lineups that we know. The first game, the Raptors are going with Van Vliet, Barnes, and Anunoby, Siakam, Poeltl. So Gary Trent off the bench again, and Porzingis is back. Gafford is starting. Avdia comes off the bench. So it's Dylan Wright, Brad Beal, Kyle Kuzma, Kristaps Porzingis, and Daniel Gafford. That's our lineup. So what are we waiting on today? What injury statuses do we know? Morris is out. We know this for the Wizards. Dwayne Dedman's out. Joel Embiid is probable. Christian Wood isn't on the injury report. He left last game early, so he's okay. The big one is Tyrese Halliburton, who is questionable. And then for the Spurs, Trey Jones is back, Devin Vassell is back, but Keldon Johnson is out, and Malachi Branham is questionable. So their lineup, who knows? I think Vassell is going to be pretty limited, as I said in that earlier question. And I think he's going to sit quite a few games. I think he's worth having, for sure. But if he is in my IL, I wouldn't activate him today. I would grab him, but I wouldn't activate him today. And then for the last game, Curry's out, Iguodala's out, Wiggins is out. Morris and Zubats are both questionable, but old mates Kawhi and Paul George aren't on the injury report. Now that's important because they play a back-to-back tomorrow, so that would assume that Kawhi doesn't play tomorrow. Maybe Paul George doesn't play tomorrow as well. So that's the injury updates there. So we're waiting on, I don't know if we'll get word on Embiid before this show ends. I hope we do. We should. Dallas' starting lineup will also be pretty interesting. Got it projected. Who do I have it projected as? You can see on the screen, but I've got it as Doncic, Irving, Hardaway, Bullock, and Powell. But Kleber started the second half last game. We didn't have Hardaway starting last game. It was Justin Holiday. I don't know what Jason Kidd's going to do. He needs to do something. And whether that answer is Tim Hardaway or not, we will find out. And we'll see how that goes. The Pacers, if Halliburton's out, it will be McConnell, and we will stream him very, very, very aggressively. The Spurs, I've got it listed as Jones, Vassell, Bates, Diop, Sohan, and Collins. The only question I have there is whether Vassell starts or comes off the bench. In fact, I'm going to change out. I think Vassell will come off the bench, and I think Branham will start. But if Branham is out, then Vassell will start. We've had plenty of times this season where Vassell has come back from an injury and come off the bench. So I am going to change that. I'm going to put Branham in as the starter. Now, if Branham doesn't play, will they go straight to Vassell, or will they start Devontae Graham next to Trey Jones? That's possible as well. That'll be interesting to see and watch what they end up doing there. Will I do a recap after the Locked On Fantasy Bowl playoffs? Yes, I will do something on it for sure. Yeah. Tejas, what do you project the Spurs' future lineup should be? This season, it'll be, I think, what they've played all season. Jones, Vassell, Johnson, Sohan, Collins. I don't think there'll be anything different with that. Is Malone a top 5 coach? I don't think so, no. Will Gafford hit 25? That's a really good question, isn't it? Because he played under 20 for 3 straight games with some foul trouble mixed in. The return of Porzingis changes things. We'll get a good indication today. I think 24 to 23 is probably more realistic, but we're going to get a good opportunity to see it today. You dropped Rowan Barrett to add KPG back from IL. Is that the right move in a category league? I think it is, yeah. How does Sharich look the rest of the season with Mudflap going down? Is he must roster? Well, yesterday, Kenrich Williams was out and Sharich played 15 minutes. So I think that would indicate no, he's not a must roster guy. I think you'll see him and Jalen Williams and you'll see Robinson Earl and Wiggins and all these guys still get those 21 minutes, sometimes 15, sometimes 25. There's a chance for Sharich to become a 12-teamer, but I definitely wouldn't label him as a must roster at this point. Add Vassell for Michael Porter Jr. No, I would definitely not do that. 20-minute upside for Goldfinger. Maybe. I think you're probably more realistic looking at 18 minutes versus 20, but it's possible. Am I going to do recaps pregame show through the playoffs? I don't think I'll do the recap shows. We'll see what I do. I might, because normally as soon as the playoffs start, I go away. But I'm not doing that this year because I'm going to Summer League instead. So I'll be at Summer League, and that's when I'm having a break. So I will be around during the playoffs. So I might do some I think I probably will do some pregame shows. But I'm not sure I'll do the recaps. I'll see. Will Bassi end up having a minute split with Collins and Worth? I don't think so. I don't think it'll be a 24-24 situation. I think they want Collins to start and Bassi to be the backup. Is Avdia a drop in a 16-team league? No, absolutely not. Is Reddish worth an add as long as Simons is out? Reddish is very up and down. He's going to give you some threes. He'll give you the occasional steal. Does that must roster? I don't think so. But it's totally okay to use him, especially with Simons out. It's okay to do that. Do I think the Rockets would trade Şengün if they get Wembanyama? There's just a lot of ifs there, isn't there? I don't know if they get Wembanyama. Wembanyama, I don't think is a center. But then it leads you in the situation where you've got Smith, Şengün, and Wembanyama. I think that they would look into it, for sure. I don't think there'd be any rush to do it. They waited 3 years to trade Eric Gordon. They've still got Jay Sean Tate there. I think that they could do that, yeah. It would make an interesting front court, for sure. Could they play Wembanyama at the 3? Maybe. How do I get him to see my questions? I see everyone's questions, Luis. I just can't answer everyone's. Any update on Embiid? Not yet. We're still waiting. He's listed probable. Should mean that he plays. But we don't know that. Interesting take from Paul George this week on the new NBA schedule, saying that he preferred 5 games in 7 nights or 4. What's 4 in 6 weeks? What does that mean? With a couple of, not 6 weeks. Oh yeah, 4 games in 6 night weeks with a couple of days off as opposed to every other day for weeks on end. Interesting. Athletes have some weird takes on their body. You hear it all the time. No, I'm fine. And then they're out for 3 weeks. Like they don't always know, and they're trying to push through things, and they might think it's better for them, but every other indicator would suggest it's not. So interesting to say that he said that. It'd be cool if you vlog some of your summer league experience. Yeah, we probably will. Because we'll be there, then we'll be in Mexico as well for a week after that to relax. So we'll probably we'll do something. It's not really me who'll be doing it though. It'll be more my partner who is doing the filming. She does the filming and the editing. If you see on my TikTok, I post the things that she puts on her TikTok as well. A lot of restaurant experiences and food stuff. So we'll do some of that as well. Yes, we will do something. I am certain of it. Do we see Nurkic back by March 13th? Maybe. Like, I would expect so, but honestly, it's just a big guess. Is Zach Collins a better shooter than what he did last game? Yeah, he shot 2 of 15. Everyone's a better shooter than that. No problem with that whatsoever. Is Wiseman worth an ad for the playoffs with an upcoming back-to-back Monday, Tuesday, despite Duran and Stewart? If Duran and Stewart play, there's no way Wiseman has value. Right? He's not very good. But with them out, there is some value in him accumulating some stats, especially rebounds. But I'm just not particularly high on him as a player. Hart or Thibault in categories? I think Thibault's got a higher upside at the moment because they are just pumping more minutes into him, and they're not doing that with Hart. I think it's probably Thibault, amazingly. Do I see the Irving and Doncic pairing work? No, I don't think so. It hasn't worked so far. I think they'll be better than they have been, but the problem has always been is what on earth happens defensively, and that's really been the issue, hasn't it? Like, not only is there clunky offensiveness, but defensively it's been a disaster. Ernest Hutchison says, do I think Duran will be back next week? I do, but I don't know. Like, they're very tight-lipped on it. I don't know. Why has Rashawn Holmes not been traded or used? Is he just a fantasy beast and bad real-life play? He was so good a few years ago. There are a few things there with Holmes. He was a fantasy beast, and he was actually a pretty good real-life player, but he dropped off significantly. A lot of stuff happened in his personal life. He got a lot of eye injuries last season as well, and I think, he's 29 now? 30? And with those sub-prime or those sub-elite guys who put up some good numbers, the drop-off comes really fast. Think someone like Marcin Gortat, who was good and then was dreadful. And the drop-off comes really quickly. So I think he's just bad now. He's a little bit undersized. He doesn't have any offensive real game. He was strong, but he relied so much on energy and hustle. And when you get that couple of years older, you just lose 2-3% on your explosion and your hustle and your recovery. I think that impacted him. Why was he not traded? I guess no one wanted to take on that contract. Comment on the first KD game for the Suns. Yeah, I talked about that yesterday. He just looked like KD. Like, this is just what he does. They're going to be very good offensively. He's just going to be KD. He's always just KD. What was the tomato, sage, pumpkin, broccoli pasta recipe? The recipe was, there's this place in Melbourne, a fine dining restaurant called Atlas Dining, and every 3 months they set their menu in the restaurant to a specific location in the world. The chef goes over there, develops recipes, comes back, and so like starting today, I think it is, they're doing a Taiwanese menu for 3 months. All right, and then they started during the beginning of the pandemic a meal delivery service. So 5-star restaurant, fine dining, that sends you the food that they get. And they said, look, we can't open the restaurant, so we're going to send you our food and send it out to you. And so that's what I get their delivery sometimes. Or, they send us food for 3 meals a week, and it was from them. So it was just roasted pumpkin with some fried broccoli. But he also prepared the sauce, which was a sage and tomato butter sauce that they make in-house in their professional kitchen. Sage and tomato sauce, and we just butter, sorry, and then so just put the broccoli, cook that in the butter and the sage sauce, put the pumpkin in, mixed it with pasta, parsley on top, feta cheese in it, actually not feta, goat's cheese, and that was it. So there you go. But I don't have the actual I don't know what the actual recipe was for the sage butter. The Bucks might be signing Goran Dragic. Okay, that doesn't really matter for anybody. Is Josh Richardson still rosterable after that horrid game? It's trending downwards for sure. Is he still rosterable? I'd like to see next game, but I think that we'll go back to Trey Murphy starting and Josh Richardson playing 23 minutes a night, which is what we thought would happen when the trade happened. So I think he will become a drop, yes. Do we drop LeBron? Yeah, I don't see how you can't, Luis. He's out for minimum 3 weeks, which puts us to the end of fantasy playoffs in most leagues. And then he might not even be back then. I don't see how you could hold him. Open IL slot, always hold, but otherwise no. Who's the best back-to-back streamer for today and tomorrow except DiVincenzo? So it's Warriors and Clippers. I think Norman Powell, especially because Kawhi Leonard's going to sit tomorrow. If Powell's available, he's a good option there. Could Eric Gordon be in the mix? I don't know. Warriors guys, Looney, if he's available. Kuminga's going to be the other one to step up there. Yeah, it's there's not like Eric Gordon, maybe Bones Highland, probably not. Mason Plumlee might be interesting because Zubats is questionable, so maybe we get 35 minutes across 2 nights, not 35 minutes a night for Plumlee, but 35 across 2. It is a weird spot. But I literally did a whole show on that yesterday as well. I don't know if I mentioned names though. Did I already talk about Vassell? Yes, I did use there. You put the question up, mate, and I answered it. Have I thought more about case for defensive player of the year? I have not. No, that'll be something that I do once the regular season ends. I'll go down and go through all my awards and all the numbers. Because I don't see a standout candidate. Like, obviously, there are candidates like Draymond Green, who's been really, really good defensively. So Jaren Jackson. Like, they're probably the 2 that stand out to me, but to make a decision on it, I've got no idea. Any update on Middleton's restriction? As far as we know, the restriction is the same as it has been, 25, 26 minutes, and there's been no other update on that. As Jack says, Dragic likely heading to Milwaukee. Do I think he'd be in the playoff rotation? No, I don't. Goran Dragic was bad most of last season. He's been bad most of this season. Who would he replace in the rotation? Javon Carter? Maybe. But in the playoffs, Drew Holiday is going to play 40 minutes. So what's Dragic going to play? 8 minutes, if that? I don't think he's got it anymore. I think he's done. He's old. That's what happens. Assist streamer for today. Ty Jerome? Maybe. Let me have a look at my projections. There is only the 4 games on today. So you're going to be diving pretty deep to find good options. Delon Wright's a really good one if he's available. DiVincenzo. TJ McConnell with massive assist upside. He'd be the one I'd try. Devontae Graham, and then we go Milk and Andrew Nembhard as the other assist stream options there, I think. Yeah, I just don't think that Dragic is going to have really any impact in fantasy whatsoever. I don't see how he could. Going back to that. Halliburton still, someone said, what's his status? He's still questionable. We're still waiting. You can see it on the screen. You can see the blue Q next to his name on the screen you're watching. He's still questionable. Branham's still questionable. Marcus Morris is still questionable. Zubats is still questionable. And Joel Embiid is still probable. No updates on any of those things just yet, unfortunately. Is Herb Jones a solid option for next week in a 10-team rotor? I think you can do much better in a 10-team league. Why is Jordan Nwora potentially worth a stream today? He played 29 minutes last game. There's only 4 games on. He played, I think, 26 the game before that. He can get hot with scoring. He's a pretty good rebounder. And then the last 2 games, they've preferred him over Aaron Nesmith. There's only 4 games on. So guys who might be usual, just 16-team league guys, do push into 12-team league discussions. And Nwora could have 16 real-life points in 25 minutes. So there's a big opportunity for him. Does my advice default to category leagues? Yes, usually. Usually when I'm talking, it's mainly about category leagues. But there is, like, I know people don't want to say it, but, like, there's probably, like, 75 to 80% crossover in things that you say. There are different valuations for certain players. Like, someone like the centers who don't score very much have much less value in a points league versus a category league. Daniel Gafford, Jalen Duren, Mark Williams. Your guys who score a bunch of points, Kelly Oubre, but kill you in every other category, Cam Thomas, are much more valuable in points leagues. But the other players, they're all relatively similar. It's not that big of a difference. But also in points leagues, it's really easy when I'm talking about someone, look at what their points are. You can use our Basketball Monster membership and you can see what we project them to score, but look at what they've averaged for the week, the last 2 weeks, the last month, the last 15 days, the whole season, and compare that. It's one number. Okay. What else have we got going on here? What's my favorite beer, Tim? I don't really have one. I just drink whatever. But what I did get installed is a keg at home. So I've got beer on tap now at home, which is a W. What's with the weird pronunciation of Nissan? That's how it's pronounced in Australia. That's why. That's how we pronounce it here. That's how the company pronounces it here. It's pronounced Nissan in Australia. I don't know why that is, but that is just how it's pronounced. What are my thoughts on the Mando Season 3 debut? Yes, we watched that, 2 nights ago. I thought it was strong. Nothing groundbreaking or mind-blowing. I'd be really curious of people who watched Mandalorian who didn't watch Boba Fett, if they're just like, why is Grogu back? Like, I'd love to know what people's thoughts were, like why Grogu was there. Like, I know what happened, but how did other people feel? Anderson or John Collins worth dropping for Trey Jones? Punt, field goals, and rebounds. Like, if you're punting field goals and rebounds, what on earth is John Collins giving you? Well, nothing. Look, Trey Jones was sort of droppable before his injury. He was very fringy. The assists are useful, obviously. But I think he's going to be pretty limited, and he's going to be back and forward, and he's going to miss games. So, look, there's no problem adding him, but John Collins gives you nothing. What's he giving you in a punt, field goal, rebound? Nothing. So why would you bother with that? Do I still plan to visit Belgium? At some point, yes. I don't know when we're going to be back in Europe. We won't be there this year. Maybe next. I think the next European country we're going to is Germany, maybe next year. But I don't know. Did I enjoy The Last of Us? I have not watched it yet. I do need to watch it. That is on my list, and I need to watch Andor as well. I don't know why I haven't been able to get around to watching it. With Vassell back, who stands to lose the most? Well, it's going to be hard to tell Aman today because what's his name is out. Keldon is out, but it's going to be Branham. Branham's going to be the guy that loses out the most there. Did any of the analysts fail to make the playoffs in the Locked On Fantasy Basketball? Good question, DJ. I'm not sure. I saw most of them, I think, made it. There might have been one, and there was definitely one who didn't make it, but most of them made it, I'm pretty sure. What's this stop by in LDN? What's LDN? Josh, I don't know what LDN is. Hang on a second. Is that London? I assume LDN is London. Stop by in London. I don't know if I will. Look, it was what we did last year when we went to France. We just flew straight into France and left France. I'm trying to just do my holidays in I'm not going to just traverse all of Europe when I go. Just go to a country and stay in that country. So I'll go to England at some point, but I'm not sure I'll do a multi-trip thing. Spicy chicken or teriyaki chicken? Spicy, Jacob. Teriyaki chicken's okay, but it's overdone, it's overused, it's everywhere. I'd much rather spicy chicken. Would I take Dennis Smith Jr. or a streaming spot in a points league? A streaming spot's always going to give you more value. By the way, Joel Embiid is listed as probable. Sorry, he's listed as active. Doesn't mean he's going to play, but he's listed active. So some good news there. A streaming spot is nearly always going to be worth more value. If Dennis Smith's your worst player, then a streaming spot is worth a lot more. Expecting Simons to miss at least 3 games? Yes. Wouldn't Portland want to play it safe since he aggravated a grade 2 sprain? You would think so. You would think they would also want to play it safe considering he had a grade 2 ankle sprain to begin with. I would be very, very surprised if he plays in the next 3 games. I think he's going to miss multiple weeks, but who knows? Their injury handling has been confusing at best. Did I enjoy eating Filipino food? Yes, I did. It was very, very good. Have I ever tried gumbo? Yes, I have. I was in New Orleans in 2019. Do we have gumbo there? I'm pretty sure we did. But yeah, no, I like gumbo. Will I ever do other fantasy sports for Locked On? No, I never will. Because part of the reason I think that I'm able to be successful and good at what I do is that I watch basketball. I do basketball 365 days of the year. I don't have a situation where now, because if I was doing other sports, I would have been preparing for baseball for the last 2 months, so half of my basketball work would be gone. If I did football, then when we hit August and September, the football season starts, I couldn't give you the basketball content that I do. I couldn't do it. Literally impossible for me to do that. And there are plenty of analysts who try to cover all sports, but I think I have an edge because I cover one sport. And because I focus on every single thing that's happening with the NBA at all times, at all days, rather than spreading myself over multiple sports. So, no, I will never do any other sports for Locked On. Do I need to switch my framework of analysis while watching Summer League? What do you mean by that? What do you mean my framework of analysis? What does that mean? Sean, you've got a pub in Ireland? I'd love to go to Ireland. I've never been to Ireland. I have been to England before. I've never been to Ireland. I'd love to do that. Who's taking care of Obi when we go away? It's a good question. I don't know where he's going just at this point. Don't know. He might go to my parents' house. I don't know where he goes. We'll see where he goes. Malachi Branham's playing. So we get a really interesting look at their rotation, even though there's no Keldon. What's Obi doing now? He's downstairs, I think, with my partner. Better rest of season ESPN points, Sohan or KJ Martin? Again, you've got pretty good information on this, Trinidad. Have a look at KJ Martin. What did he score yesterday? Have a look what he's done over the last 2-3 weeks. Do the same with Sohan. Both of these guys are absorbing bigger, more important players back, with Devin Vassell coming back for the Spurs and Trey Jones coming back for the Spurs, but Kevin Porter coming back for the Rockets. I'm going to guess that KJ's been a better player than Sohan has been over the last 3 weeks, so it's probably going to be him. Is Kevin Love good for 12-team leagues? No, he's not. He is very fringe for 12-team leagues. I don't think the experiment of them starting him is going to work out, and I think at some point he might start and be a 20-minute-a-night starter, which is not useful enough. So he's not good. No, he's absolutely like a fringe guy that you can use and you don't have to. Have I been to Canada? Yes, I have. I was in Montreal in 2019 for about 4 or 5 days. I was in Montreal. That is the only place I've been in Canada, though. Do I think there is intelligent life in the universe? Janelle, you work for NASA, so you know the answer. The answer is yes. There 100% is. Where? I've got no idea. As an Australian, are you an NRL fan? Absolutely not. No interest in the NRL whatsoever. Do I think next year's draft is going to be the strongest in the last 5 to 10 years? Yes, it appears that way. Yes, I haven't done really any work on it, but yes. Has my partner ever been on any of the shows? Yeah, she's been on a couple of shows. Not many, maybe 1 or 2. Can I say those words? I can sure say them, Clarence. Aluminium and laboratory. Like, what? The second one, I know you guys say aluminum. But yeah, aluminium, because we actually spell it different. We have an I in there. Like we use English and you use whatever language this is. Laboratory? How else do you say that? Laboratory. What do you... Laboratory said that way. Hope you're not blocked or blacklisted on this channel. You're not, because you're here. You're commenting. KCP, THD, or Killian Hayes rest of the season, punting field goals and rebounds. I would put Horton Tucker at the back of that list. It's got to be KCP, surely. He's been so good with steals. I'd put, actually, maybe. If you're punting field goals, Hayes probably pushes up because of his ability to get assists, which KCP doesn't do. I might put Hayes ahead of KCP there. Am I making any last-minute trades in my leagues? I have made 0 trades this season. I haven't made a single trade, and I won't be. Is it an Australian thing to say partner rather than wife or spouse? I don't know. Is it? What's wrong with saying partner? We're not married, for a start. What do you want me to say? Girlfriend? It's just partner. Also, it's not really anyone's business whether someone's married or not. So I don't know. Maybe it is an Australian thing. Did I try poutine? Yes, I did, Nero. Absolutely, I did. Am I a huge fan of Murray Bartlett? I've literally never heard that name in my life. Jose Sosa, what are your betting odds? Vontae comes back before next week. I'd say it's 50-50 coming back before next week. Coming back during next week, he's like 80%. Do you drop Vando for Eason? I think Eason's got a much higher upside than Vanderbilt. But I feel more secure in Vanderbilt. I would want to see that if I had someone worse. But, it's a tough one. I think I probably would in the end. I would take that flyer there. If next year's draft is going to be the strongest in years, who is out there besides Wemby? Scoot Henderson would be the number 1 pick in basically almost any draft. There are the Thompsons, Amen Thompson and Asir Thompson. I think that's how it's said. I haven't done a lot of work on it, but I just know there are a bunch of guys. So I am going to go and just bring up a look at some mock drafts and tell you the names that I know of who are considered strong. There's Amen Thompson, Brandon Miller, Asir Thompson, Jerace Walker, Nick Smith, Keontae George, Cam Whitmore, who's struggled a little bit but had really high pedigree coming in. Derek Whitehead had some really high pedigree coming in as well. There's probably 10 interesting guys, I reckon, who are standard top 5, top 6 players. Yeah, and a lot of them are, like, you don't have that random senior guy, the Corey Kispert, the Chris Duarte, even the Keegan Murray, the older player push in. It's what happens when it's a strong draft class. It's all one and dones. And it's always why I'm skeptical of the older players, because they always tend to find themselves pushing back to put themselves into a weaker class, so they go higher. And in this one, the highest, like, old player on this mock draft here is Chris Murray, Keegan's brother, who's 22 already, and he's like the 17th player. And then there's Terquavion Smith, who I don't know why that guy didn't go last draft. He would have been really good there. But this is just, it's all 19-year-olds, basically. Everyone is young in this. Apart from Amen Thompson is like 20. He's just turned 20, so he's a little bit older. Obviously, his brother is too, and Brandon Miller is as well. But it's basically all one and dones. Any more news here? Kyle Lowry's without a timetable to return. Okay. Still no update on Embiid, whether he's playing. He's listed active. Who do I think is the best streamer for rebound and stocks? Don't say stocks. It's a terrible word, and it means nothing. Rebounds. Good streamer. Charles Bassey. Charles Bassey's going to be your best rebound blocks guy today to stream. Avdia can be good for both of those, all 3 of those categories. Gafford's going to be a good rebounds and blocks guy there too. Cater Bates Diop can get you some steals too, and he should start with Keldon Johnson out. I've only got a couple of minutes left here. Have I been to Iceland? I have not, Thomas. At some point, yes, but no, not yet. Can ESPN league schedules be edited before the start of the season? Yes, of course. Did Cade have surgery? Yes, I'm pretty sure he did, Christian. Tiberius, I've never seen White Lotus. I need to watch it. So I don't know who Murray Bartlett is. Do I use Tankathon for draft stuff? What do you mean? Like, do I use it? I just use it to look up a list of names. And no, it's not exclusively what I use. I use a bunch of different sites. and a bunch of different people, and I have 10, 11, 12 different draft analysts come on the podcast to talk about the NBA draft. So I use multiple different sources. So no, I don't just use Tankathon, but it's good just to get a list of names in a row there. And that, hang on, you say laboratory? No way you say that. It's laboratory. Is laboratory? Oh my God, I need to look that up. That's disgusting. Anyway, we're gonna be out of here on that note as I go look up how you guys say laboratory. Thanks for being a part of the show. Hit thumbs up on the way out, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.